for me, I'm supported, and tomorrow many of our colleague members of Parliament will be here to support Muntaka, Honorable MMM as you referred to him. Parliament is about experience, and I'm sure that he's one of the few gifted with the engineering of parliamentary procedure and gifted with process and practice, and that is what creates the work. Having played the role of a whip, I still recall very significant successes we chalked collective as a minority. Thanks to his guidance, thanks to his strategy, thanks to our collective resolve to fight the government of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And today, as I have said, Ashanti means a lot to the NDC and to the future of our country. I know that there are many who, even when I said that the NDC must work towards 1.2 million, said that it was over ambitious and that it was practically impossible to achieve that. It is possible. And it's possible, not that other possible, that we would make and secure the 1.2 million if we appeal to the conscience, senses and feeling of the people of Ashanti, who themselves today na Seombetu Abakwa na Shawasitinam will be the driving factor. Senator Ian Brevio. It will give us an understanding that they themselves want change, and change itself is coming, and the people of Ashanti were appealing to them to support change for Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC to reset Ghana, so that Ghana will be on a better path. If we are to concentrate, and I'm sure my colleagues Honorable Mutala and Honorable Sosu and Salam will deal with some of the issues. If you look at Ghana today, we are suffering major economic crisis. I call it a triple crisis. There is cost of living crisis, cost of doing business crisis, cost of corruption crisis, and cost of governance crisis. All of it we are suffering in Ghana, no thanks to Nana Dankwa and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. If you look at, I've seen them even attempt to say that Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC made 200 promises and honored only 28 or 11. They made over 1,000 promises. Out of it, they haven't been able to attain 111 out of 1,000 promises and pledges that they made. But some are very real. If you go and look at their agenda for positive change, which was their manifesto for the 2016 election, I just start with some of the highlights. They said, one, they will double-digit grow the economy. The economy has never double-digit grown under their watch. In fact, the first time between 2010 and 2011, when Ghana's economy grew between 11 to 14% GDP, was under President Mills. That's when the economy grew double-digit. In that same manifesto, they said they will end the suffering of Ghanaian people. That has not been achieved. They said every constituency will get $1 million and per year. Let's use the Bawumia exchange rate. At the time, the dollar was 4.2 cedis to $1. Today, the dollar is 16 cedis. So Bawumia exchange rate, every constituency, including Asawase, that Kamata Musamu command 32 million in Asawase in the last few years. One number Bazuya Sunyi, one Aichi. There are still lots of deplorable rules across the country that they have not been able to fix. So 2024 is John Dramani Mahama, and we are here proudly to support the former whip and MP for Asawase, and he holds a critical fulcrum of Ashanti for the NDC, in order that he would whip enthusiasm and support across the region for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. We don't need to speak to many of you who are already converted. But as I said, if I were to say that in Ashanti region, probably you were going to say within the NDC, I'll be underrating who he is. In Ashanti region, we're going to count MPs who know procedure and process. Apart from, and when I say apart from, it doesn't mean that the person comes higher, but because of long service. If you mention chairman, then you have to mention Honorable Muntaka in terms of the understanding of the practice and procedure of Parliament. So it's important. Then to the Muslim Ummah, if there is anybody who has served the Muslim Ummah very well within the institution of Parliament, today we're on board the flight with one of the young clerks he works with. I hope that I can get the clerks' names right. I think Baba Inusa, and then the Hajia who is almost now retiring. I'll get the name for you. The Honorable Muntaka Mubarak is among few members of Parliament who ensured that Islam had its pride of place within Parliament as an institution, and that our right to worship, freedom of worship as Muslim was held and respected without fear or favor. And I'm sure he carried that even through Ghana, not just the institution of Parliament. If you know that Parliament now has a dedicated place, thanks to the speakers he worked with, in particular Professor Michael Kwe, in getting even as Juma prayers well done. He's done his contribution also to his faith that he so much also believes in. I'm not here to eulogize him yet. It's too early, but the minority then, I'm sure that many of the footprints that we chalked, maybe today I'll share just about 4 with you. Whatever it is today, the Speaker of Parliament was elected, and what people should hear today, and when I say strategy, Mustafa is, I'm borrowing your words, is an expert par excellence when it comes to strategy. It is not as if Bagbin was just elected, no. And maybe today I'll share this. We met in Marriott Hotel, guided by him. We told the party, the NDC party, maybe many have forgotten because they are now interested in the specs of the office of the Speaker. I then, after listening to his brief, satisfied that we're ready, I told the NDC party that a tortoise will ride an elephant at dawn. A tortoise will ride an elephant at dawn. And a tortoise rode an elephant at dawn. Nobody has come back to ask me what it meant.
Elephant is a wabugo.
We are called Allah. And one na Allah ya chika ya bamu. That's what I meant. So people shouldn't just think that it just happened. No, I said I announced this openly that at dawn a tortoise will ride an elephant. There are many those who didn't even believe in it. They didn't think it was possible. And then, like the bees, we entered like the bees, and we succeeded as those bees, and we got Honorable Bagbin elected. I've heard people even talk about consultation. We were very, very consultative. In fact, even in the corridor as Speaker was elected, until the first and second deputy speakers were elected, I was in constant consultation with Asedun Ketia, now chairman of the NDC, in that corridor. So there's always constant consultation.
It wasn't like we were the parliament. We have to do what we want.
I say constant consultation. If you want, even on the other side, I'll mention names. When it got critical on the MPP side, it took Dambuche, KT Hammond, Abu Jinapona, Minister for Lands and Forestry, reaching out to them. And then we worked out the strategy. At some point, Nana Danko was worried about his swearing in. So we said, and in fact, maybe today my mood is quite good, so let me reveal it. Then Osechi Mensah slipped out of his mouth that let's go and swear the president in and come and re-elect the speaker. Unquote. This is what happened. So we mastered our courage, we mastered our tactics, and we said, look, Honorable Bagwin has won the election. Let's get him sworn in as speaker. There's not going to be any election, and let's get the deputy speakers elected. And we negotiated, as I said, we consulted. And I'm just saying this for people to appreciate how much teamwork and collectiveness can chalk success. We did. I've heard people talk about e-levy. Nowhere in the world has a parliamentary opposition held government for 6 months. We did. We did. I know some people who were waiting for an 11 p.m. flight to get it done and to get a motion taken. We stood our grounds, and we stood very, very strong and very firm. Someday I will share some more, as today is just to celebrate the Honorable Muntaka. And then I mentioned e-levy in person so that people know he's here. My mother said that my witnesses should always be alive. In fact, I was on board a flight to London from Nasadua when he in Dubai said that, look, leader, come back to Accra, the speaker is back. They may be preparing to take e-levy. That's how I got back to Accra. And coincidentally, I was in the flight with Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed, and then Habib. So this you can find out. Wouldn't even know
the
about
deputy
whip on the other side. So Muntaka is worth supporting. We would support him, and we are urging the people of Asawase to support him. You have a wedding representative of an ambassador in Parliament. That is why we are all here. The Medina seat is as important as the Tamale Central seat, and Northern region is as important to Salam, who wants to plow back as many seats as possible. From what I hear from him, our worst performance in Northern region should be 14 seats. Worst performance. We should be able to recover, and then so you'll be assured that John Dramani Mahama will win Northern Ghana overall. Who is won in Upper East and Upper West region with slight competitiveness in the Northern region and now Savannah region. Overall, we should see President Mahama win more parliamentary seats in the Upper East, Upper West, North East, Savannah, and Northern region. And Northern region, we would ensure that ultimately John Dramani Mahama emerges. And I stated somewhere where Ghana has reached. I'm just going to share you a Kumasi example. Look at the Kumasi airport. The NPP have tried to want to own it. They cannot. The people of Ashanti, the people of Tamale, these were all projects initiated by John Dramani Mahama. The Tamale International Airport, and then the Kumasi Airport. In fact, what happened with Kumasi Airport was just a financier pulling out. But the John Dramani Mahama cabinet, after the first phase, had actually given cabinet approval for the second phase, with KFW pulling out and new funding being sourced for it. That's when the NPP came in for it. And then to us Muslims, this was to facilitate the Hajj. One of the most significant pillars of Islam. We saw for the first time under John Dramani Mahama with Sheikh Osman Nur Sharabutu, the respected national chief imam, when pilgrims took off from Tamale to Makkah and Medina happened under the NDC. But the idea of the Kumasi International Airport was to focus on horticultural exports of foodstuffs. I mean, when you see a lot of oranges and banana going waste, or watermelon, even body, and no, it shouldn't be. And the conceptualization started even far back 2013, when I can recall, and I'm happy to share names. At that time, we had asked Professor Jamba for Honorable Amadou Sogo, Dr. Nashir Isaku, and I get the name of Director of Exports at the Ministry of Trade to go to Frankfurt, Germany and Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Kenya to assess even an additional cold store to be built for purpose of expanding this Kumasi airport so that it could be used for those horticultural exports together with Tamale Airport. So Tamale, it was even envisaged that we would do Nasia Libga irrigation in order that some crops can be cultivated there. All you need is a storage, and 6-7 hours you were in Europe. I'm sure the Honorable Mutara may have come across the past when he went to the Ministry of Trade and Industry. So long term, Ghanaians are now beginning to appreciate John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. I mean, if you have a government which came in, total national debt was 120 billion when Nana Addo Dankwa in his 2017 State of the Nation address described as colossal. Today is 742 billion. So just take 142. He's borrowed 600 billion.
620.
I'm being friendly. So 600 billion more. Yet he expects that we'll compare his performance to John Dramani Mahama, who got only 120 billion. What political or economic sense does that make? You got 600 billion in addition to Bank of Ghana over 50 billion. Yet you want to compare your performance to a government which had only 4 years with less financial resources. Now they came and they have mortgaged all our ESLA mortgage, Get Fund mortgage, NHIS mortgage, because you see their finance minister believed in investment banking, so everything for him was about the future. So when he was borrowing to get us into this hole, he didn't appreciate it. My colleagues, when are you coming in? So today we are here tomorrow for the major Muntaka lunch. Is a victory lunch, is a winning lunch. We are very optimistic about the prospects of his victory and return to Parliament to serve the people of Asawase very, very well. And then I use Kumasi Airport. As you land, you are after commissioning, a bus will take you to the new airport from the old. It means uncompleted yet commissioned. Uncompleted but commissioned. Now what the Ghanaian people and the people of Ashanti must appreciate about the death of the MPP misrule is the cost overrun in the country. So take Kumasi Airport, take Takoradi Interchange, take Obechibi Lamte, take Palugu project, take Wale Savulugu project. Now, if a project was supposed to cost the government of Ghana $250 million, that project is now likely to exceed $300 million. That is what a reckless management of the economy means to the taxpayer. You are going to pay more
due to the delay.
Not delay, debt exchange. When they come here and they are celebrating, if you are in debt, you are in debt.
Oh, your friend said he has done a lot.
What lot? He's only postponed the problems to 2026. Ghana's problems have only been postponed to 2026. And even that, out of 22 projects, only 2-3 projects is likely to see the light of day. So all 10 key loan funded, international funded projects are likely to stand still. It may be reviewed by President Mahama if he wants to continue with the project, and it will come with additional cost to the state and to the taxpayer. Now look at the depreciation of the city and the economy. I mean, this is a government which knows no shame. They came, they said, oh, inflation. They took inflation to 54%. Now they say, praise me for bringing it to 23%. Never ever in Ghana's history under the Fourth Republic, save in the first years, that we witness this. So cost of living, if you come to the KJTM market, you don't need to campaign even before our traders. They know what's going on. the cost of doing business, cost of living have all ballooned to levels that is not acceptable. And then, as I said, for us is Honorable Muntaka tomorrow, and I sometimes my colleagues are here, so I don't want to take too much of their time. Many of the things we were able to block. I mean, Ejapa, probably if Ejapa happened, you would not have an IMF, probably they could have saved themselves. But when we read the Martinamido report on Ejapa, we were convinced that no, this is not something we should support. I still recall at the time when Nana Dankwa and his presidency wanted to borrow $1 billion. We said no, we would only allow you up to 250 million of that $1 billion. And that's what happened. And if you recall, even the budget, whether rejected, restored, rejected, and then you see them now coming to change even our model of governance, where in the constitution speaker is used, expresso unus, where in the constitution, so to explain that better, deputy speaker is used. The framers of the constitution knew why. If they wanted to refer to speaker, they would say speaker. But if they say a person presiding, they knew what they meant. Even though the speaker is supposed to preside. So Excellency John Dramani Mahama ya nema support mu. To mudemu na rokon Allah ebashin sarauta Ghana, so that ya komo, and then he would come and reset Ghana and put it on the right path. There are many things we cannot say until the manifesto is particularly launched, but I'm sure today I can share one with you because I see a lot of youth in Asawase. He's also an IT champion. Excellency John Dramani Mahama will introduce what we call the Digi Entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs, shortened to Digi Entrepreneurs, where there will be collaboration with Microsoft for him to train about 300,000 youth.
300,000?
Yes, on IT related skills. This will be a major thing that President Mahama himself will announce very shortly, if he hasn't already done so in Bolga today. So the Digi Entrepreneurs is to focus on young people whose aptitude is in ICT, and to train them for the world of work and the competitive innovation work ahead. Then he would position Ghana as a business process outsourcing center. This is something we discussed far back, 2009 to 2012. Ghana has not been able to take advantage of it, but we do have young people with those skills. Then take universities. The NDC expanded access to tertiary education more than any other government under the Fourth Republic. What Nana Dankwa is busy doing is renaming the universities, while somebody labored to expand access to higher education. He's more interested in who he named this university after. You have 4 months, 4 universities.
That's what the Minister of Education said.
Where? And why couldn't it be part of their thought in the last 7 years? When they had enough, 7 years you couldn't do it, you want us to believe you in 4 years. These are knee-jerk reaction to the NDC coming back. And I think that the young people in Asawase must support the Honorable Muntaka return to Parliament. He serves Ghana's Parliament very well. He's also a proud representative in the Pan-African Parliament. I'm sure now I should be aspiring to be a Pan-African prior to retirement. So, and he serves on one of the important governance committee of the Pan-African Parliament. So we have good reason why the people of Asawase were appealing to you to give him an opportunity to return back to Parliament, to serve and serve you well. I mean, I'm a member of Parliament for as comparable to his years, and no MP has been able to attain every other objective or every other aspiration you set for yourself. kama naje dalo ayileko toko zozo aje haruna kaje kai wanga baka iya ba. It's normal. It's normal. Timabe bangwanye dagwambube kumasi kabe Ashanti region. Tian soya me. Yada tobon partma. Tenen kubran so now ni minti yen pahwa ka wabgulan bukti so. Na on the long la na on check up cham. Ka check Excellency John Dramani Mahama Kana. And tinye yuma na pae o yuma na mane. Karanang yuma ni. Dagbanle mpurwenda ya na yile kuyila nang bara ko yise along shirme. If you sing funeral dirges over a sick person and he recovers, you lose your voice. Because your wish was that he was going. You see, Dr. Bawe and Akufo-Addo, they were singing funeral dirges to the NDC with deception and lies. So it relates to my second proverb. When you build a house with saliva, it collapses with dew. Because that is how the house was built. So the bamboo anzang nintore me yile malgam da la lora. So wago gomnan to mama malgam ne da be yilma loe. Katle yarne wahala pabbe tetangban wa pam ka wahala ma zo. The bilan to natin na pande. Ka wabgobe Dr. Baunya Sakopte ale present kamun kana for republic mo onyala yuma ni when non la yuma nae ka Ghana ne na on lampa yuma nae to sormen na on pa Excellency John Dramani Mahama yuma nae o kana te toy o tunzera ne o tunkura to hal da banle ya on kanama o kan mena ne nimble shele o kombala la nimble wa ona minjine enya ka jin pa nle soba kanya when zan la ni na ma gbogbo yanga anye ne bi hayima o mamman gbogbo dan tunere tai ko tai bambo gbogbo dan tunere tai ko jalgale on kana tanala Ashanti region mo da bian country en chaletwa so to ka ti boni wagu yara Ashanti region busula Ashanti region bugal si anuna dan ti bugal si ma jinma ama ti ben sa anyense ti ben sa zuzu so kam da yimnan ti jine ka ti nya vote man en no sha kalu sa na pa atlanka ti di shahara kale di kale na ka gbanya ben declaration ka dole cham police station tinya ben yanzu sha coalition di te za ne kamar shap tum ka te son ne party agents ma te be de shawara ne kan le yar ne zuma wala ne ka si shamma mam da yila ne samandole yalan kuto da amma ne kuto da shinkafa kuto da za samandole kalle kana ta bosse taman anya wabgona tumba na sheltan gbanwa ba tere zan jijam kaman project shama benda nan da karanya American la kaman $250 million the pam dise na biane ha $300 million ku sale benda kana Brian ne president mama chan ta pan lore ko bumman bobla zo ban pan lore bang man bobla ma ka man so I'm sure Nabu says Muntaka now you can help me then I'll look forward to so
I'll prefer Muntaka everything you said in Hausa.
If you said in every so thank you very much. So we are here, as I've said, to support the Honorable Muntaka election bid. We are committed to it, and we would do everything possible and everything necessary.
My colleague, Honorable, would also make comments. We are here, like the leader said, to support our brother. He is my senior brother, actually. To support him I think that there are several leaders, maybe several former leaders, if they invite us, we wouldn't go. We agreed to come because of the person who invited us.
Because of it is Muntaka.
Yes. And I'm not saying this to please. I mean, those who know me, I would look into your face and tell you the truth.
Including me, I guess.
Yes. There are other colleagues that I've seen where we are staying. The MP for Sisala is Sufaru, and the MP for Bole, Yusuf, they've all arrived and they all be here. There is one thing you need to credit the leadership of Honorable Haruna Idris, Honorable Muntaka for the first time in the Fourth Republic. They were able to reject a budget for the first time in this Fourth Republic. We rejected a budget and voted against it. For the first time in this Fourth Republic, we elected a speaker who was coming from the opposition party. If you won't even praise them, and you're an NDC person genuinely, you need to give them credit for that. It didn't take just we to elect, it took leadership to be able to direct us into doing what the party justifiably so needed. But for them, there was no way Honorable Bagman would have been the speaker. There was no way. The kind of consultation that we witnessed, where the leadership of the party, including President Mahama, Alhaji Mama Idris, they all were brought. And it was this leadership who brought them. We met at a particular hotel. They galvanized us. They formed committees. And then they formed groups. There were cycles of groups who should confront MPP should they want to behave in a way that is adherence to our democratic principles and governance in the chamber. And we succeeded in doing what we have done. I think that this is something that everybody must praise and recognize the role played by this leadership. Reject a budget and elect a speaker from the opposition. If Honorable Muntaka, who was on the ground on that day, if he was not firm, and if he was weak, whatever they discussed, and MPP members of parliament were going to vote and show what they voted for against the standing orders of parliament and the constitution, there was no way Bagwin would have been the speaker. Because any MPP person who voted and had voted for Bagwin, because if they were demanding they wanted to vote and show, they didn't want it to be a secret ballot. If that was allowed to happen, there was no any MPP person who would have voted for Speaker Bagwin. They would have all voted for Makokwe. Because if you voted against Makokwe, you would have been expelled from the party and you would have lost your seat because there would have been a by-elections. And so we need to give them credit. To be very honest with you, I have been to Parliament, in the 6th Parliament, the 7th Parliament. I wasn't there, and then I came back to the 8th Parliament. Parliament is not a place to joke. Many people do not know that Honorable Muntaka is not a lawyer. Many people do not know. Someone asked me, I said, no, he's not a lawyer. I said, I even did LLB. But he hasn't done LLB. But it's because of the longevity, the experience that he has accumulated as a member of parliament. So the people of Asawase, it is not only you who needs him to be in parliament. The NDC as a whole genuinely and sincerely needs him in parliament. Because we need the stock of experience. When I came to Parliament in the 6th Parliament, I was fortunate to have had Honorable Haruna Idris, Honorable Muntaka, Honorable Yilechre, Honorable Kumbo, Bagwin. They were there. So unfortunately, they haven't met some of them. I was fortunate to have met them and learnt under them. The likes of Kumbo, the likes of Yilechre, they have gone. The leadership now, tell me, now as we sit in Parliament, if you take Honorable Haruna and Honorable Muntaka and Honorable Collins Dauda, Honorable Cletus Avoka, and who?
Avoka is going.
Yes. Now they are all going, except Honorable Collins Dauda, who inshallah is coming back. Assuming that these two people or one of them were not to come to Parliament, it would have been a disaster for the NDC. So the reason why we are asking the people of Asawase to vote for Honorable Muntaka, it is not just about you. It is about Ghana. Honorable Haruna has spoken extensively on the role he played as a Muslim, and he doesn't do it for people to know. When Dr. Bawumia is preaching religion, preaching Islam, and is assigned, when the girls at Wesley College were denied of the right to practice their religion in the month of Ramadan, he spoke on it first, and some of us also spoke on it. He led us to meet. He Honorable Muntaka. He led us to meet the Minister for Education, granted interview left, right, and center. Where was Dr. Bawumia? Where was he? You see, there is nothing wrong with anybody telling people I'm a Muslim and therefore. But if you tell people, vote for me because I'm a Muslim, but it is not about what I have done for Islam, that is deception. Look, when the Holy Prophethood came to him, and he came back from Mount Hira, and he was shaken because Jibril held him and said, Ikra, Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi halaka al-insan min alaq, Ikra wa rabbuka al-akram. And he was scared when he came back, and the wife Khadija asked him and covered him with a cloth, and he explained to Khadija what happens. Khadija took him to his uncle, who was called Waraka bin Nawfal. Waraka bin Nawfal was a Christian monk. And Waraka bin Nawfal said that you have been predicted to be the prophet who would come. This was a Christian monk. When Muslims were persecuted, the first place they moved to was Abyssinia. And they met an emperor. That emperor was what? Yajashi was a Christian. It is not about you telling people I'm a Muslim, but what you have done. If you come to Parliament today, you have been there. There is a place, a befitting place we pray. A befitting place, better than several mosques, in fact, if you like, in this country, even though it is a small place. But like Honorable Haruna said, you can't but give credit to him. He has not gone about telling people that this is what I have done, as Dr. Bawumia is seeking to tell people. Honorable Haruna Idris, who was the minority leader, has indicated that this was the significant role Honorable Muntaka played in that. And I'm saying this because they are going about, and they know they can't say it openly. Hadith now says that leave that which makes you doubt, but that which does not make you doubt. Because they know it is immoral and ethical, they won't sit on radio and say vote for Dr. Bawumia because he's a Muslim. They come to your bases where the youth sit. You are sitting there because you don't have jobs. And who caused it?
The man.
The man. Because the reason is that the figures are very clear. He's been very untruthful. The day he unveiled NAPO, he said that he has outperformed NDC in every aspect of the economy. I said even including jobs creation. Let's interrogate the facts. They took unemployment from NDC at 8.4%, statistical service. Today unemployment is 14.7%. In fact, when the statistical service man appeared before Public Accounts Committee last week, he said it is not 14.7, it is 13.7. When I insisted it was 14.7, he said it is 13.7. So granted, how can you take unemployment 8.4 and then you brought it to 13.7 and you think that you have outperformed President Mahama in terms of the job creation? One leader was talking about President Mahama borrowing about 120 billion. That 120 billion included what we have borrowed since independence. So the time President Mahama came, it was 70 billion. So he borrowed 50 billion. But we have all seen what President Mahama has done with the monies he has borrowed. What has this government done with the monies they have borrowed? So I just want to let our brothers understand that if there is any political party that has recognized the importance of Islam and the need for Muslims to be given a fair treatment as far as the distribution of resources of this country is concerned, is the NDC. And there is no denying that fact. I remember when we were students at Kulku School, myself and my senior brother, we all attended Kulku School. When we were students at Kulku School, even on Eid day, you have to go to school. Except that those of us who say you won't go and the next day you go to school, you be caned. But you won't go. It took the NDC to realize that there is the need for Muslims to also have a holy day for Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Look, thanks to our brother, he's not Muslim, Honorable Susu, but he was promoting a bill in Parliament to to increase the number of days Muslims are given holidays. He is not a Muslim.
He's not a Muslim.
But he has done better than someone who thinks, like the Christian monk, like Waraka bin Naufal. He is not a Muslim, but he felt that there is the need for Muslims to be given some holidays, at least the extension, just more than the one day that we benefit. What he's calling for is fairness. What he's calling for is fairness. So demonstrate your Muslimness when the event or the circumstances demand so. And Dr. Bawumia had several opportunities to demonstrate that, and he never did. Again, people who live here, at least I have spent 2 years of my educational life in KNUS, and I've spent 2 years of my life here. I know the people in Ashanti region, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, Asantis or not Asantis. This is a business city, particularly in Kumasi. Everybody engages on one business or the other. Over 90% of what they sell here are imported. They took cedi to the dollar under the NDC, a little over 4 cedis, for 4 cedis 20%. Today it is moving around 16 cedis. Inflation 15%, like Honorable Haruna said, we took it to 54, and then you are able to reduce it to 20 and say, clap for me. Debt to GDP a little below 60%. Today they took it to about 104%. They brought it to around 70 to 80%. They say clap for me. A gallon of petrol under the NDC was 14 cedis. A gallon of petrol under the NDC was 14 cedis. A liter of petrol is now 15 cedis and more. Yet our senior brother Dr. Bawumia, who thinks that he's a Muslim, that Zongo should vote for him, will look into our miserable faces and says that I have outperformed NDC as far as the economy is concerned. I would choose a Christian who loves Muslims and loves Christians, who treats us equally. We are not asking for some partial treatment. Treat us as the country demands, as a secular state, and that is what the NDC has demonstrated over and over the years. The NDC has treated all of us as citizens, and therefore when Muslims are demanding something that is fair, you find even Christians who are supporting what Muslims are demanding. Like I've given the example of our brother. We have never had an elections in this country where religion has taken a center stage of a political party campaigning than we are experiencing today. We have never. And you know how dangerous that is? It is divisive. It softens out the cohesion that exists between and among us. Ghana is like an oasis. It is the only country that you don't find Muslims and Christians ever engage in fights, because we understand that we are ruled by some laws. Yeah, Dr. Bawumia will keep on talking about this. I have seen a video recently where they met some people in the northern part of the country and said that, oh, vote for Dr. Bawumia because he's a Muslim. And the question is, young man asks, what has he done for Muslim communities? The central mosque we have in Kumasi, the central mosque we have in Kumasi, the NDC is not bragging about it. That Turkish who came to build it was informed about it when President Mahama and an entourage of Muslims had traveled to Turkey. And Muslims have been struggling to build. I remember and I went to Legon level-handed. I remember when they gave the land out, and Alaja Adamu leader, the Global College. I remember when I came there, very active in Jimsa. We came there as Jimsa members, and he contributed at that time 50 million. I remember, and I even said that he has taken all over the iron rocks that are going to be used to build the mosque. Muslims have tried several times. It took President Muhammad to travel to Turkey, and they were able to get that particular person to do that. He didn't just come to do that. He did that through President Edwan. It was a president to president, and he prevailed upon that philanthropist to come and build this. Tell me what they have done. Yet they keep on ringing this into our ears. I am saying that a president who indeed has helped to develop this country and the Zongos, we were told that they were going to turn all the Zongos to cities, admirable cities. Have they been able to do that?